once again. Good evening, folks. Welcome to Friday Night Tech Talk. I'm Mobile Geezer, which you're well aware of if you're watching on my YouTube channel, but you might be watching on one of my Facebook IDs. We simulcast to all three, so you might be watching on Mobile Geezer on Facebook or George Hayes. And there's Eleanor right on time. Glad you're here. You're the first one in. If you're new here, we do this every week. I pick some articles that I think will be interesting to other tech heads like myself. And if there's a big event or a big presentation, I include something about that. There wasn't anything big that I know about this week, though. So this week I've just got what I think are some interesting articles for you guys. And if you're new, please type something in the comments. Let us know where you're from. And absolutely feel free to keep a conversation going in the comments about whatever you might want to talk about in tech or anything to do with any of tonight's stories. And speaking of stories, if you click on the QR code, that'll take you straight to tonight's show notes, which are on my website. And as I do every week, I will share screen and show you how to get to the show notes on my website. And you can read right along with me if you so desire. So if you go to mobilegeezer.wordpress.com, just click on today's date. You'll get just the show notes for tonight's show. And as I do every week, give you guys a little preview of what we're going to talk about tonight. I did check a little while ago to see if Ted said anything about joining us, and there was nothing from him. Last week he joined us in the comments, but he didn't come on the show, so hopefully he'll surprise us. Oh, and there's Will. I was just talking about Ted joining us, and there you are, sir. Wait a minute, I got you in there. There. I assume you're at work?
No, I'm home, but I'm cooking. What's up?
Oh, okay. Nothing.
I
Just
just popped
started the
on.
show.
Yeah, we got this big storm coming, so.
Yeah, well, we supposedly we all do. Now, here in Chattanooga, everybody's expecting it because this is going way down into the south too. But you know, when the weather comes across the plains and it comes through Memphis and it gets to Nashville, and that's all flat. So as long as it's flat, the weather can just keep traveling along. Once it gets past Nashville, though, we have a mountain called Mount Eagle, about 40 miles this side of Nashville, towards the east, coming towards Chattanooga. Most weather hits that mountain and turns up and goes up into Kentucky. So for us, I think it's 50-50 whether it gets here. But if it does, it's supposed to get here sometime tomorrow morning, I guess.
Yours is tomorrow morning. Ours is the big part of it. I think is like Sunday
Okay,
at
yeah,
like one
I
in the
think our
morning,
biggest
something
part
like
will be
that.
tomorrow morning, and then if whoever does get it is going to get it through Sunday, I gather, into Monday. That's what I gather.
Okay.
So how much? So for down here, they're talking about an ice event. I would assume up there it's going to be mostly snow, or do they
They're
know?
saying, yeah, I haven't really been following it too close. I mean, I got to work anyway, but they're saying like first I heard 13 inches, then I heard
Okay, that
20 in the
sounds like
beginning.
Jersey to
So
me. Okay,
yeah, it's all over the place, I think.
yeah, and that's the Jersey that I know. You know, I know even when we moved out of Jersey in '89, 18 inches was very common. So
Yeah, but the last couple of years we've had like, tame winters. This year's already started off with,
right,
a decent amount of snow already.
yeah, getting back to the serious stuff.
Yeah, but I don't really
Eleanor
care.
said hi, Will. So
I tell her I said hello.
okay. All right, I'm going to continue with this highlight of the presentation of which stories I'm going to be presenting tonight. So I'm just going to go down there and give them the preview like I do every week. So, folks, I'm going to start with OnePlus. That's the big thing supposedly this week because some people are saying OnePlus is going to be gone. Other people are saying OnePlus is not going anywhere. So I have two stories. I said OnePlus is staying, but for who besides China and India? Nobody seems to be absolutely sure. So I've got that story, and then I'm going to follow it up with interesting story I found on Android Central. People whose eyes suffer with flicker sensitivity greatly depend upon OnePlus and a few other phones. So I didn't know OnePlus, nothing, and a couple of others are okay for the people but had the sensitive eyes to the flicker. But OnePlus is one of the few companies that actually does take care of them. I guess the Samsung and Apple don't. So we'll go over that. And then I found a story on digital trends. I just said Apple hasn't given up on Siri yet because since Apple decided that they're going to go with Gemini through Google, most of us thought, okay, so Apple's given up. Well, they haven't given up, and I have a story about that on digital trends.
Go Siri.
Next, they haven't given up on Siri as yet. So the impression we all had was that they had given up, but no, they're still planning to do something by WWDC this year too. So we'll see what happens. All right. After that, scammers, get this. After Verizon customers, what they went through last week, scammers target Verizon customers awaiting their account credit. So scammers are trying to suck Verizon customers in by using their supposed credit from their outage last week. So that's a quick story we'll take a look at. And then, the picture that I found, it's an Apple AI pin. That's what I said. There's an article on digital trends. But the picture that I found, once I put it up there, I said to myself, it looks more like a robot vacuum than an AI pin, really. Anyway, I got that picture up. And the last story I've got is a lot of you probably know Tesla's robo-taxi has been operating in Austin since last July, I think. Well, now you can order a robo-taxi in Austin with no human supervision if you want to do that. So just thought it was an interesting story to throw up there. So those are our stories for tonight. Willie, you going to read any of these stories, or are you just going to follow along?
No, I'm just going to follow along, George.
All right. I'm going to start with the first story then. And anybody, if Ted happens to pop in, I'll let you guys know about that too. But we're very glad Will is here. And Will, just, sound off whenever you've got something to say.
All right.
All right. OnePlus is staying, but for who besides China and India? So let's go take a look at Tech Radar. And OnePlus says rumors of its demise are false and unsubstantiated, and we're glad to hear it. This was written by David Neal 3 days ago. Business as usual. So into reader view, get rid of these ads. Okay. The tech world was shaken yesterday, and this is from 3 days ago, remember, by a report from Android Headlines that OnePlus was being dismantled by parent company Oppo. But today we have official word that rumors of the demise of OnePlus are wide of the mark. CEO of OnePlus India, Robin Liu, took to social media to say that the company is operating as usual and will continue to do so. He described the leaks around OnePlus shutting down as false and unsubstantiated. But keep in mind, he's the head of India, and that's it. And here at Tech Radar, we're very happy to hear it. We've covered the OnePlus brand since it launched its very first phone way back in 2014, and we recently awarded the OnePlus 15, which launched last year, and which just atop our rankings of the best Android phones, a full 5 stars out of 5. And I told you guys in my little video the other day, right now, I currently am using OnePlus Open. I have the OnePlus 13. I have the OnePlus 12. I have the OnePlus Watch 2. And I have the OnePlus Watch 3. So I'm a pretty big OnePlus fan. So I'm hoping they're not going anywhere also. Let's see. As you might remember, Oppo and OnePlus merged in 2021 with OnePlus becoming the sub-brand. Since then, we've seen numerous similarities between phones from Oppo and OnePlus and Realme, which Oppo also owns, but OnePlus devices remain distinct. Some questions remain. The original Android Headlines report points to several signs that OnePlus operations are winding down, including low levels of phone shipments across the globe and cutbacks in marketing operations outside of China. According to analysts, OnePlus phone sales dropped to around 13 to 14 million in 2024, down from 17 million the year before. That's a big drop. Meanwhile, Oppo sales are up across the same period, which might be a reason for the company to shutter OnePlus operations. There remains some uncertainty over the future of OnePlus outside of China and India, and that's the issue here. The brand doesn't have any carrier partnerships in the US, for example, and previous leaks have suggested that the OnePlus Open 2 and OnePlus 15S might both have been canceled, and we went over those rumors. So we think the OnePlus Open 2 is canceled and the 15S, but nobody seems to be sure, just like we're not sure where OnePlus is staying open. Hopefully, OnePlus continues to operate globally and offers some much-needed competition to the likes of Apple, Samsung, and Google. Its latest flagship is high up on our best smartphone list, and we'd certainly miss the brand if it disappeared. And as I said in my video the other day, I picked the OnePlus 13 as my 2025 phone of the year, and I had previously picked the OnePlus Open as my 2024 phone of the year. So I'm a big fan, and I'm hoping it doesn't go anywhere. So that's what I started off with. Will, have you ever had any OnePlus phones? You're muted at the mute. You're muted at the moment.
Yeah, George, I did. I had what was it, the 3T, the 7 Pro,
Okay, yeah.
Another one too, I forget. Yeah, I've had a
Okay,
couple. I used to like
okay.
them when they first launched.
Right.
Then they started playing with the OS. I didn't really care for that.
Well, see, I was like a
Um,
lot of
and
people
then
after.
me, I like the physical, like the look of the phone. And I
Right,
started to like the way that their phones look, like with the camera part and that type of stuff. And
right, right. And see,
yeah,
me, like a lot of people, I was crazy about the 7 Pro, and I had a couple of them before that. And then I let myself trade in the 7 Pro at some point. But I'm getting a used one again because I just missed that phone too much because I thought it was the
what, a
coolest
7
phone.
Pro?
Yeah, with the pop-up camera. Yep.
Yeah, where'd you find that at?
I found that on Amazon for like half price, third price, something like that. You know, a used one, a refurbished
Wow.
one.
Yeah, I remember I had the white one. I liked it. I
Yeah,
did like the,
but I started
it was
looking
all
at it again, and I
screen.
remembered that camera that I was crazy about the way it just popped up out of the phone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, for that price, I'll get it again. So I'll have it
How much
again
was
next.
it?
I think it was $300.
It's still going for that much? That's a lot.
Well, no,
You're
maybe
brave
it
though,
was.
because I don't know if I would trust the camera popping up and down anymore after all these years.
I that's what I fell in love with, but I was wrong. No, it was like 269, I believe.
Ah, okay. But that's what I'm saying. I don't know if I would trust that it's gonna work long because how many years has it been?
It's been 6 years. That's a 2019 phone, but
Yeah,
it's
so that camera might not have a lot of pop up and down left.
Well, we're going to find out. But in any
Yeah.
case, it was such a unique phone. Nothing else was
Yeah.
like it, and
And
I don't
nobody
think
else
will be.
came out with nothing like that. Nobody else did it.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So we'll see. I'll let you know what next week when I get it. Um, oh, and before I forget, I wanted to let everybody who happens to be watching now, 2 weeks from tomorrow. So normally I'd have next week's show on Friday. The week after that, it's not going to be Friday. It's going to be on Saturday. And yes, I know that's Super Bowl weekend, but either way, I would have had it on Friday night. But something came up family wise, so I'm going to do 2 weeks from tonight. It's going to be 2 weeks and a day, so it'll be Saturday the 7th instead of the 6th of February, and the following week will be the same thing. So for the 7th and the
That's the two in a
14th,
row you'll be on Saturday.
I'll be on Saturday, and I'll be at 9 o'clock instead of 8 o'clock. So, but I'll put some notes out between now and then. I'll remind everybody again next week. So, okay, on to the next story, and it's also OnePlus. And this I thought was pretty good. I didn't know about this. People whose eyes suffer with flicker sensitivity greatly depend on upon OnePlus and a few other OEMs. So that was on Android Central, and this one was written by Nicholas Sutrick. And I remembered when they used to broadcast every week, he had talked about the sensitivity of his eyes with some phones. So for him, OnePlus is kind of important. OnePlus is more important than you think, especially for people like me. And as I said, Nicholas Sutrick wrote it. Competition in the U.S. smartphone market is already on a fragile edge, and only one company makes flagships that work for flicker-sensitive people. And in the article, he mentions a couple of other, but they're smaller than OnePlus. So let's go to read a view. Okay, the average person living in the United States doesn't buy smartphones like people in most of the rest of the world. While you can buy an unlocked phone from great retailers like Amazon or Best Buy, the vast majority of U.S. customers get their phones directly from carriers like T-Mobile, AT&T, or Verizon. Because of this behavior, companies like OnePlus that don't play ball with carriers often find themselves on the losing side of market share in one of the world's largest smartphone markets. I think we're number 3 after China and India. Whether or not you believe rumors that OnePlus is winding down its global presence, it's clear that the company's market share has dwindled over the years. Thankfully, OnePlus has publicly declared that it's not calling it quits. Still, I worry about the potential, as OnePlus has been one of my safe havens as someone sensitive to flickering LEDs and PWM dimming. And I remember he talked about that a couple of times on the Android Central podcast. OnePlus is the only, he says only here, company in the country making flagship phones that adhere to IEEE standards for LED flicker. That surprises me. And it's starting to feel a little like doomsday for folks like me. Those of us left behind. A few months ago, I was introduced to Harry Metzler, a musician based in New Jersey who has struggled with PWM sensitivity since contracting COVID in July 2022. After having to cancel a European tour for his band Ill-Advised following its 7th album release, Metzler realized his new iPhone was impossible to focus on, and certainly LED lights actually caused his left eye to involuntarily shut. So this is pretty important stuff to some people with this kind of sensitivity in their eyes. That's about the time he found out about PWM dimming, a dimming method used by some LED lights, OLED displays, and other LED-based gadgets. Instead of dimming like a traditional light source, where voltage is simply reduced to produce a dimmer light output, LEDs that use PWM dimming rapidly turn on and off several hundred times per second to fool your brain into seeing a brighter or dimmer image. The result is often described as seizure-like or concussive symptoms in people who suffer from sensitivity, like Metzler and himself. Metzler finds that his iPhone 13 is currently the most comfortable model, partly owing to that phone's reduced brightness level when compared to newer iPhones. That's interesting. Your iPhone 17's OLED is better than Samsung or Google, but it's still not good enough. Apple's iPhone 17 family launched a new PWM-sensitive accessibility setting that helps some PWM-sensitive users. I had no idea so many people had this kind of issue. But it's not a be-all, end-all solution. Some phones, like the Google Pixel 10 Pro, have taken up a similar idea, but the fact of the matter is that these brands have been slow to make even small changes, while brands like OnePlus responded to problems with robust solutions years ago. So there's one place OnePlus seems to be way ahead of the big boys. The OnePlus 15's display, for example, is currently the most eye-friendly flagship OLED display you can buy in North America. The more budget-friendly OnePlus 15R's display is even better than that for flicker-sensitive people and doesn't compromise quality to ensure all users can enjoy it. So good for them. But it's not just PWM dimming that's at fault either. Temporal dithering is another problem that's reared its head as 10 and 12-bit displays have become more commonplace, and it's causing just as many issues as PWM dimming for the same reason. So I guess a lot of people have these eye issues. So this temporal dithering is a tactic used by manufacturers to artificially deepen colors on a display by flickering a pixel's colors back and forth, creating a color that doesn't exist by tricking your brain. This is often at 15 to 30 frames per second, the same flicker rate that causes epileptic seizures. That's not good. Since my second COVID infection in 2024, I've been unable to use any Apple laptop. Interesting. Metzler told me. The link between flicker sensitivity and COVID infection is something often correlated in the PWM-sensitive community. Didn't know that. And I realized that my own sensitivity to PWM dimming also coincided with my first COVID infection. It's what led me to first write about how my phone was making me sick in May 2023, and I remember he discussed that on the show. Metzler told me he realized his eye-twitching problem was caused by dithering, which was introduced in a Mac OS update. He identified the problem by using a program called SwitchResX on his Mac, which forces the OS to stop using dithering. It helps solve Metzler's problem when using older Apple hardware, but newer laptops with M4 silicon no longer allow this setting. That's a shame. OnePlus may not make laptops, but it does make several tablets and phones that don't employ dithering or low hertz PWM dimming. Pardon me. It's a fact that means some users must use a non-Apple, Google, or Samsung branded device or be faced with debilitating health issues on a daily basis. So this is pretty serious stuff for them. Metzler told me I've talked to the Apple Store management and they put me in touch with corporate, but it's just this round and round and round and round thing. And I'm at the point where, we just kind of feel like there's no choice but to bring awareness to this issue. So my guess is, from Apple's point of view, it's probably not a big enough issue among enough people for them to do anything about it. It's my guess, but at least OnePlus is. The biggest problem with both PWM dimming and temporal dithering is that you usually can't physically see these things in action, which is the entire reason they've implemented in such a way. And that means most people simply don't know they exist. I had no idea. People get headaches and other pain from their devices and don't understand why. I think Jerry also had some issues with his eyes from some of these phones. The glacial pace of evolution from the largest companies is a bad fit for users with specific needs, and that's where a company like OnePlus comes in. If OnePlus were to exit the market again, particularly the US market, it would mean the only real alternatives for flicker sensitive people are Motorola, Nothing, or one of the many e-ink phones that have entered the market over the past year. But none of those phones are flagship level, and they all come with their own problems as well. Motorola doesn't offer some of its best flagships in the US, that's true, and Nothing has yet to launch a proper flagship phone, even though I love my Nothing Phone 3A Pro. Each of the company's mid-range and entry-level phones is often great for PWM-sensitive people, but many of Motorola's LCD-based phones are a bad fit because they employ dithering. Likewise, while e-ink phones might be totally flicker-free, thanks to e-ink technology, almost all use lower-end specs at best. My hope is that people like Messler, who are stuck using Apple devices for job-related reasons, will soon see relief as companies like Apple and Samsung adopt tech from companies like OnePlus. Let's hope. We need these kinds of companies to stick around to serve potentially niche requirements, especially in this day and age where daily life is quickly becoming impossible without a smartphone. Want a beautiful display that won't hurt your eyes? The OnePlus 15 has it all, from excellent peak brightness to an incredible zero point 0.5 nit low light setting and a bevy of eye care features that ensures even sensitive users can enjoy it pain-free. So that's good to know. Very interesting story. I had no idea so many people had these eye issues. Let me get a little drink of my hot chocolate. Annie's in here. Hey, Annie, glad you're here. Now Ted is here. Ted, you just snuck in and Will snuck out, I guess. Ted, you there? Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
I didn't even. How long you been there?
For the whole article.
Oh, okay. Didn't know that.
Temporal dithering.
Just snuck right here. That was an interesting article, wasn't it?
Sure it was.
Okay. Well, since you're here, you want to read the next one?
Sure.
All right. It's Apple. I just said Apple hasn't given up on Siri yet, and I've got it on Digital Trends. How's everything with you? Okay.
Yeah, it's just raining. Raining all day.
How's the cold? Are you getting the big storm down there?
Yeah, tomorrow. That's when the snow begins.
Okay, yeah, we're going to get something, but like I was telling Will, once it gets past Nashville, more often than not, Mount Eagle, which is between Chattanooga and Nashville, pushes stuff up into Kentucky, and we often escape it in Chattanooga, but we don't know until tomorrow morning, so we'll find out.
Fingers crossed.
And Will said they're expecting it, I guess, Sunday. They're expecting like 13 inches, he said. That's, I think, the latest he said. But, of course, in Jersey, that's fairly normal. So
yeah.
All right, here we go. Apple plans to turn Siri into a full AI chatbot to take on ChatGPT and Gemini. All right, all yours, sir.
Okay, Apple plans to take on new AI-powered Siri is expected to arrive this year by Manisha Priyadarshini.
That's a tough one, yeah. Pretty good.
Okay. A new AI-powered Siri is expected to arrive this year. Apple plans to turn Siri into a full-fledged AI chatbot later this year as it scrambles to catch up with rivals like OpenAI and Google after years of falling behind in generative AI. The move follows reports that Apple plans to power a Siri's AI overhaul using Google's Gemini technology. The overhaul would fundamentally change how Siri works. Internally codenamed Campos, The new Siri is expected to replace the current interface entirely and behave more like a conversational chatbot. Users will still summon it the same way by saying "Hey Siri" or holding down the side button, but the experience would feel closer to ChatGPT or Gemini with the ability to talk or type and forth more naturally. A more capable Siri is finally taking shape. Bloomberg reports that the revamped Siri will be deeply embedded into iOS 27, iPad OS 27, and Mac OS 27, rather than living as a standalone app. It is designed to go well beyond today's Siri with features like web searching, content creation, image generation, and summarizing information and analyzing uploaded files. The new Siri will also be tightly integrated with Apple's core apps, allowing users to do things like edit photos by voice, draft emails using calendar contacts, or find specific files, messages, and events more easily. Gemini isn't able to do half that stuff. The chatbot version of Siri is expected to be unveiled at WWDC in June as a key feature of iOS 27 and macOS 27, with a broader rollout likely in September. Before that, Apple plans a more limited Siri and Apple Intelligence update with iOS 26.4 this spring, which keeps the current interface but upgrades the intelligence using Google's Gemini models. That makes iOS 26 more of a stepping stone toward a bigger Siri reset later this year. Apple has not commented publicly on the report, but the scale of the overhaul points to growing pressure as rivals continue to bake conversational AI deeply into their platforms, leaving Apple with little room to keep Siri as it is.
Yeah, so that one completely surprised me because I was under the impression they had really given up with their deal with Gemini, but I gather they haven't. So
I'm surprised as well. The way they also rolled out the carpet for ChatGPT to come in on their phone with the widgets and stuff. Oh.
So let's hope they get this done this year like they're saying they will. Yeah. So what are you eating tonight?
Doritos.
Oh,
I really shouldn't though. But you know what? It's Friday. Gotta get down on Friday.
You're gonna have orange fingers.
Got it.
Exactly. Anything new with the bicycle stuff or anything new with the photography?
No.
Okay.
Which is good news for the bicycle stuff, especially. No news is good news there.
Yeah. You're still going back and forth between the two bicycle clubs?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it was like the first time. I think it was the first time this year I actually drove to work instead of cycle because of the rainfall.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because it get kind of dangerous out there. Especially would you say you had a 6-7 mile trip to work?
Yeah, 5 to 6.
Okay. So yeah, better to drive when it's raining and it's cold. So okay, I'm going on to the next story, and now everybody knows Verizon had the huge outage last week, so now scammers are still trying to take advantage of them. So I just thought this is an interesting short. This is a short one, but scammers target Verizon customers awaiting their account credit. So I got this on Phone Arena. Verizon customers impacted by outage warned against new threat. Verizon customers waiting to be compensated are being pursued by cyber criminals. And this was written by Anam Hamid, and this was published on the 19th. So they're going to refer back to last week's outage. So let's go into read review. Scammers are targeting Verizon customers awaiting account credit for last week's outage, according to software company Guardio via Forbes and the Jones County Sheriff's Office in Georgia. Never give out your details. And there's an example of the real and the fake that they've been getting. On Wednesday, this would have been last week, hundreds of thousands of Verizon customers lost service for almost 10 hours. The company said that a software issue brought its network down and is attempting to make amends by offering an account credit of $20, though some customers were able to get credits as high as $200. Didn't know that till I read this. Verizon has notified customers that it will provide updates on when the credit is ready to be redeemed via the My Verizon app. Criminals are trying to cash in on the situation by impersonating Verizon and telling users they can use points to win prizes. That should make you suspicious. These messages contain links that take customers to a phony member verification website to siphon off credit card and login information. So you don't want to give anybody any information. That's how the phony one will look. So it will probably looks very much like the real one because Verizon also has you go into their member verification. Sketchy texts take customers to a fake Verizon website. What may confuse customers is that Verizon's text also includes a link to My Verizon. The legitimate text mentions Verizon's shortened domain vzw.com, though, and redirects you to the My Verizon app. Also, the official text will come from Verizon's verified short codes, while a fraudulent message typically arrives from an unfamiliar 10-digit number. So keep that in mind, you Verizon people. To be on the safe side, be patient and wait for the credit to show up in the app. Otherwise, if the link takes you to a website that asks for sensitive details, avoid providing information. Yeah, good advice. Yahoo also reports that Georgia's Jones County Sheriff Office is warning Verizon customers against scammers who are claiming to be from Verizon. These bad actors are offering credits to customers via email and text. Clicking on links included in the messages could lead to malware infection and information theft. If you can't tell a legitimate message from a shady one, it's best to call Verizon to verify the offer. Do not click the link. This is a scam designed to steal your personal info, account details, or infect your device with malware. Georgia's Jones County Sheriff's Office, January 2025. I think it should say 2026. This is the last thing Verizon customers need. Last week was difficult enough for customers, many of whom believe a $20 credit is insufficient. I would agree with them. I'm glad I'm T-Mobile. Some customers were able to get more by telling Verizon that $20 didn't make up for their loss. In most cases, customers who got $50, $100, or $200 were those who relied on Verizon's service to earn a living. That makes sense. Verizon seemingly looks at usage history to verify these claims. While it's good to see that Verizon isn't rigid with the credit, scammers have likely seen this as an opportunity to lure people with prizes or more generous credits. Be on your guard. Verizon customers have been angry with the carrier for the service disruption, and scammers are trying to capitalize on negative emotions. Sophisticated schemes can confuse anyone, which is why you should only trust known sources and avoid fishy text. So, just thought I should probably put that story up because who knew the scammers would be coming out of the woodwork right away. So, nothing else new in the comments. Ted, you any comment on that story, or you want to go on to the next?
Visible has never given me any problems. Even during the outage, I just realized.
So you have Verizon?
Visible, they use Verizon's network, but I was never affected.
Okay. Oh, yes, and I remember in the article that I did last week that they said Visible wasn't affected. I was surprised by that. Okay. So good for you.
Yeah, look at me.
Okay. You ready for the next one?
Yeah.
Are you seeing the picture I put up on the website? After I put the picture up for this article, I just said Apple AI pin, but I realized the picture of this image that they have of what this pin might look like in the picture, vacuum. It looks like a robot vacuum, really.
Yeah.
So I didn't think about that till after I put it up.
Vacuum.
Yep. All right. On to digital trends, and whenever you are ready, sir.
Okay, let's see. I'm just waiting for you. I'm trying to see it on your site, but all right, let me just read it.
Can you see it?
Forget the watch. Apple's AI pin might be its next wearable move. New reports say Apple is building an AirTag-sized AI pin with cameras and mic. Oh boy!
So Johnny Ive went over to OpenAI, and I guess they're doing one. So I guess this is going to be Apple's answer to what they're making. So
Terrible idea.
I think so too. But whenever you're ready.
Didn't work out with Humane. What are they going to do different?
Exactly.
Okay, so all right, scroll down a bit.
Yeah, I'm at where it says new reports.
New reports say Apple is building an AirTag-sized AI-powered pin with cameras and mic. Apple appears to be working on a new kind of wearable that goes well beyond the fitness bands and smartwatches, an AI-powered pin. As reported by The Information, the AirTag-sized circular device could be equipped with cameras, microphones, and a speaker built into the thin aluminum and glass housing. If it sees the light of day, it'll most likely run the new Siri chatbot that Apple is expected to unveil with iOS 27. According to details shared so far, the wearable is still in the very early stages of development. In fact, Apple could launch or even cancel it depending on how engineering and marketing conditions evolve. That said, people familiar with the project say the company is targeting a 2027 release window, a move that would position Apple directly against or other wearable efforts from competitors like OpenAI and other experimenting with similar form factors. What the AI might look like. The rumored device is described as a thin, flat, circular disc, only slightly thicker than Apple's AirTag. On the front, it would house two cameras, a standard lens, and a wide-angle lens, allowing it to capture photos and videos of the wearer's surroundings. Around the edge, 3 microphones would pick up audio, while an integrated speaker could enable two-way interactions or provide auditory feedback. It would also feature a physical button along the edge and magnetic inductive charging interface on the back, similar to how the Apple Watch charges. Those hardware choices hint at a device meant not just for simple commands, but for richer contextual understanding of a user's environment, whether for real-time AI assistance, translation, or hands-free capture. Its small size also suggests that you might wear it on clothing or a bag rather than on your wrist, helping differentiate it from Apple's existing wearable lineup, including the Apple Watch. What other wearable lineup are there?
Yeah.
While Apple hasn't said anything, I guess the AirPods are considered wearable, so okay.
Yeah. I guess, yeah.
While Apple hasn't said anything publicly about an AI app, this effort isn't happening in isolation. The company is revamping Siri into a more capable AI chatbot and has partnered with Google to leverage Gemini models for next-gen AI features across their iDevices and Macs.
And they're showing a picture of Humane, which was a huge failure.
That was still very cool. I don't know how Apple's going to be on this one. Even so, Apple would have to convince consumers that this type of device offers value building on what a phone or a smartwatch already provides, especially given past struggles in this category. Humane's AI pin, for example, suffered from performance and battery life issues before the business was wound down. Motorola also unveiled something similar at CES 2026 early this year, but it's probably best to wait and see how these products perform in the real world before judging the concept too quickly. As mentioned, the rumored Apple AI pin is still under development, and there's real chance it could be canceled altogether. Considering Apple has done this before with projects like air-powered Apple Car, it's safest to wait for an official announcement for anything as a given.
Yeah, so after what Humane went through, I was surprised. And then I didn't know that Moto was coming out with one too.
Mm-hmm. First, I'm hearing about this.
Yeah. So just interesting that people don't want to give up on this, and of course OpenAI and Johnny Ive are working on one too. So it's interesting. But I still think people are so used to having their phone and watch. I'm like, how are you going to pull them away from their phone and watch which they're used to using all the time? But I guess they must have a plan. So, all right, I've got one more story, and I just thought it was interesting. Most people know that Austin had the robotaxi starting, I believe, last July. Well, now it's always been a person in the car with you just in case. So now you can get one without a person in the car. So I just said now you can order a robo-taxi in Austin with no human supervision. And I found this on TechCrunch. So let's go see. Tesla launches robo-taxi rides in Austin with no human safety driver. And this was written by Rebecca Bellin, the 20th, so yesterday. All right, so let's drop this into read review, get rid of these ads. Tesla is offering passengers robotaxi rides in Austin without a human safety driver in the front seat. CEO Elon Musk on Thursday posted on X, his social media platform, just started Tesla robotaxi drives in Austin with no safety monitor in the car. Congrats to the Tesla AI team. He then made a recruitment pitch for engineers interested in solving real-world AI, which he says will likely lead to AGI, we'll see, to join the Tesla AI team. The automaker launched its robo-taxis in the Texas city last June in a limited deployment with the safety operator in the front passenger seat. Tesla initially offered those first rides to influencers and hand-picked customers. In December, Tesla began testing its robo-taxis in Austin without a safety driver in the front seat, a precaution in case the vehicle needs a human to take over. Not all of Tesla's fleet in Austin will be fully driverless. Per Tesla's AI lead Ashok Eluswamy, the company will be starting with a few unsupervised vehicles mixed in with the broader robotaxi fleet with safety monitors, and the ratio will increase over time. Tesla is charging for the rides, according to one rider who posted on X. There also appears to be a chase car following the driverless vehicles. That's probably a good idea for now. Some of Tesla's rivals like Zoox and Waymo did not immediately charge for driverless rides upon initial deployment. TechCrunch has attempted to reach out to Tesla for clarification. I guess they haven't heard anything back. So it's interesting. Now, as much as I am pretty much a fan of Elon, Elon does have a reputation for not letting the truth out about how many accidents Tesla's had, about all kinds of things, and I gather Tesla does cover up accidents, especially way more so than Waymo or anybody else. And some of the stories I've done in the past and some of the stats I've seen, seems like Tesla has more accidents, a lot more accidents than anybody else. So
Yeah, but is that because of? I think it's still if you have it's accidents with the autonomous driving feature.
yeah, the full self-driving, yes.
Is less than the human ones.
Is it that? I would think it would be less than the human ones, but still, it's kind of scary that Elon does try to cover them up, because I get he's very evasive about reporting this stuff.
And of course, naturally, it would be less too, because not all Teslas have full self-driving mode enabled.
Yeah, well, now you have to pay extra for it too, at least in some cases.
Yeah, I heard he's trying to do it like a subscription thing.
Exactly, I think so. I think in the Cybertruck you have to do it that way. I think. So
The big bad Cybertruck, the car
yeah,
that
exactly.
you don't want to have hitting you, is gonna be. Oh boy.
Well, generally, the Cybertruck has become known as one of the biggest tech failures in the history of tech. So,
Really?
yes,
The amount of people I see driving it?
uh,
That's worrisome.
I gather sales wise, there's been nothing but a huge, huge flop. Every time Tesla thinks they're going to sell so many, or, they never sell anywhere near what they think they're going to sell. And you drive by any Tesla facility, at least around here in Chattanooga, you see tons of them just sitting there.
Of course, it's the Elon effect. That is his doing.
Oh, and you know what Elon has done? I saw an article, I guess last week or the week before I did. Elon is actually using X to buy to buy Cybertrucks just to make the sales better, and then they're sitting in it at X headquarters. But I mean, the X has bought thousands of these things just to help make it look better. So, but I've seen
That is
maybe
sketchy.
over the last 4 or 5 months, I've seen maybe 10, 12 videos about what a failure the Cybertruck has been. The biggest failure by far of anything that's come along. So it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I'm still an Elon admirer. I've just learned not to take Elon's word about everything.
Definitely not. Especially when it comes
Exactly.
to Tesla.
Exactly. So you're going to be hunkering down for the weekend?
Yep.
Okay. Now, if we get it tomorrow morning, I guess I'll be hunkering down. Normally Eleanor and I go out to dinner on Saturday, and I'm over here in my man cave working on Saturday night and on Sunday. So we'll see. But where I am here at Eleanor's, there's a pretty good hill you've got to climb up from the main road. So if it gets snowy and icy, I won't be able to do it. So we'll see.
Hey, are you streaming this in vertical orientation too?
Yes. They
Okay.
do that automatically. I stopped showing it here, but yeah, StreamYard just gave us that about a month and a half ago, and it's always in both now. Now, where are you seeing it? Are you seeing it on YouTube or are you seeing it on Facebook?
I'm seeing it here in the StreamYard.
Okay. Oh, okay. I got you.
Like it's on the left side.
Yeah. As soon as I start, I see it on the left side. I just kill it so I don't see it. But yeah, you'll see it right away. Yeah, but yeah, that way anybody watching with a computer or a phone will see it, I guess, normal. So anyway, anything else new on your side?
Let's see, not yet. No.
Sounds like you're expecting something.
There's going to be a film festival I'm attending next week. I'm volunteering for. But otherwise,
Okay.
I think this is going to be a quiet weekend.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, I'd say probably staying home is probably a good idea this weekend, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Makes sense. All right. Well, I'm glad you were here, and I'm glad whoever else came in. So,
Sad
Eleanor,
I just missed Will.
yeah. I guess Will couldn't stay long, but he was home cooking, I guess. So I was glad he popped in, but I'm certainly always glad when you come in. So thanks for being here. And did you hear when I announced that 2 weeks from tonight, which will be the 6th of February, it won't be on Friday. It'll be on Saturday, the 7th, and it'll be at 9 o'clock. And the following week, same thing. And I know the 7th is the day before the Super Bowl, but I would have been on Friday night before the Super Bowl anyway. But there's some family stuff we've got to take care of. So rather than the 6th, it'll be the 7th on Saturday night at 9 instead. And the 13th, it'll be the 14th on Saturday night at 9 instead. But I'll keep reminding people about that if I just wanted to make sure you were aware of it too. So that'll be 8 o'clock your time.
February 7th.
February 7th, it'll be on Saturday, 9 o'clock my time, 8 o'clock your time, and February 14th, same thing. All right?
That's, February 7th is a Super Bowl, right? I don't know why that's not.
The next day, yeah, February 8th is the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right, glad you made a note of it. Glad I remembered to tell you. But I'll be putting out something about it in the next couple of weeks, and I'll announce it again next week, and then I'll put a notification out there. Just wanted you to be aware, and I'm very glad you were here. So I'm going to go, and I hope you stay safe and stay inside, and hopefully we'll talk to you next week.
Hopefully.
All right, sir. Be blessed. Good night, everybody. See you next week.